Hey, so it's been like 3 months since the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra was announced, and even though I didn't get a chance to review the S22 lineup when it first launched, I actually wanted to wait until more updates were pushed out and see how the phone performs and address some of the issues during launch and see if they've been fixed through software updates. We're now in May of 2022, and yep, the S22 Ultra just got its May software update, so let's check out the phone as a whole after 3 months and see whether or not it's still a good pickup for you. So just like any of the other Android reviews on this channel, let's start off with its specs. The Galaxy S22 Ultra is the top dog in the S22 lineup, so it's using Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It's also packing 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, which is most definitely enough for any type of user. You can also spec this up to a terabyte of internal storage, and it packs a huge 5000 mAh battery. Now this also features a 6.8-inch WQHD+ AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate that features LTPO, so it can technically drop the screen refresh rate down to 1 Hz to save on battery, but in reality, with a lot of the testing I've seen on the internet, it only drops to about 24 Hz at most, but hopefully that'll change in the future. Now this is also the first S series that packs an S Pen, so this basically killed the Galaxy Note line, which honestly, I'm not that mad about. Now, I still think the S Pen should be on the Galaxy Fold versus the Ultra line here, so hopefully when the Galaxy Fold 4 comes out, we'll see an S Pen on that, just like the S22 Ultra here. Now, let's talk more about this display though. The 6.8-inch AMOLED with that 120Hz refresh rate is just so beautiful to look at. Samsung, in my opinion, features the best displays on a smartphone, and the S22 Ultra doesn't disappoint here. It's insanely bright, up to 1750 nits of peak brightness, so if you're always out and about and in direct sunlight, you'll be able to see just about anything on this phone on a bright sunny day with the best colors on a smartphone. Unlike the S22 I reviewed not too long ago, this S22 Ultra packs a much bigger display, and unfortunately it is curved, which honestly is a bummer for me. Now you might like it, but I really am not a fan of curved displays on a phone, but if you're into big phones and curved screens, then this is going to be heaven for you. And before we check out the rest of the S22 Ultra, I just want to quickly thank our sponsor for this video, Caseify. Now you've probably seen their cases from all those famous Instagrammers and TikTokers over the last few years, but you've probably only seen them on iPhones. Well, great news for everyone, they finally support the latest and greatest flagships from Android, the S22, S22 Plus, S22 Ultra, and the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Now what's awesome about these cases from Caseify is that their phone cases are made from 65% recycled and plant-based materials, and their impact cases are military grade drop tested from 6.6 feet, while their ultra impact cases are rated from 9.8 feet thanks to that G-Tech technology that reduces impact by 95%. They're super slim yet very protective, and their designs are unlike what you've seen from traditional cases. They're super stylish, and some of them you can even customize with your own name on it. Now my favorite would probably be this Pangram case for my S22 Ultra. It says Los Angeles on it with LAX on the right side, mimicking a plane ticket. Mine even has my own name on it, which is kind of cool. So if you're interested in checking out Caseify, I'm actually going to get you guys 15% off your new Android case if you go to caseify.com/heymarkel or click that first link down below to get 15% off your new Android phone case. Caseify, show your colors. Alright, now I did mention earlier in the video that this is the first Galaxy S series that houses an S Pen, so this pretty much confirms that the Note series is gone for good. And speaking of that S Pen, it's thin and light and such a fun stylus to use if you like writing down notes instead of typing them. And if you're looking to draw on the S22 Ultra, you can, because it can actually recognize pressure and angle, which is awesome. But probably my favorite feature about the S Pen is the fact that it can act as a remote shutter for taking pictures. So for example, you put the phone down to take a group picture, you can just use the S Pen and use it as your shutter button, which is pretty convenient. Now unfortunately, in video mode, you can't use the S Pen to start recording videos, which would have been nice as well. Now when it comes to performance and day-to-day usage, I was able to use this phone day in and day out without having it break a sweat. I couldn't find a single app that can actually slow the phone down, so performance didn't really disappoint here. Whether I was just scrolling on social like Instagram or TikTok, or maybe I'm playing a game like Genshin, for example, I didn't have any issues at all. Now, unlike the Xiaomi 12 I recently reviewed, which by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, I'll throw up an iCard here or a link in the description. But basically that ran Genshin at an average of about 40 to 45 frames, even if the game was set to play at 60 frames per second. Now, the S22 Ultra here was averaging around 55 to 60 depending on your settings and what you're doing in the game. For me, it ran really smoothly. Plus, with that 120Hz refresh rate and 240Hz touch sampling rate, playing any graphic intensive game at a smooth 60 frames per second is no challenge for the S22 Ultra. And when it comes to battery life, it kind of varies. Sometimes I'd get about a full day of usage, sometimes less, but I was actually surprised that I wasn't able to get a full day and a half here. I'd always have to charge by the end of the night around 11 p.m. or midnight to make sure that I have enough battery for the next day so that one, my alarm goes off, and two, if I don't have time to actually charge in the morning, I can just get going with my day. But as someone who started working from home recently, that wasn't really an issue for me. But for example, I were to leave for a weekend and I don't always have access to charge my phone, then I'd have to watch my usage or carry a battery bank with me and charge the phone that way. All right, now let's talk about my favorite section in any smartphone reviews, the cameras. Okay, so the S22 Ultra packs some serious heat when it comes to its cameras. So the S22 Ultra comes with 4 different cameras on the back. A 108 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 telephoto lenses at 10 megapixels. One is a 3x zoom while the other is a 10x zoom lens. And up front you get a whopping 40 megapixel sensor, which is kind of overkill to be honest, but if you're a selfie addict, it takes some pretty good selfies. Now overall, the S22 Ultra is probably equipped with the most versatile camera system on a smartphone. You have 4 cameras that can give your photos a bunch of different looks, from an ultra wide to a 100x digital zoom, which can shoot clear pictures of our moon, which is crazy by the way. The 100x digital zoom here I don't think is a gimmick anymore. Samsung's definitely improved how they process these 100x zoom photos, and to my surprise, they actually look pretty good. They're not the cleanest looking shots, but they're definitely legible and you're still able to get a sense of what's in the frame. Now, in terms of its overall photo quality though, it's very similar to the S22. Like I said about the S22, they've toned down the sharpening and the saturation a bunch over the last few years, and it definitely features one of the better image processing on Android. Now, I still prefer the Pixel's image processing, but that's more of a preference thing. But I will say that the photos out of the S22 Ultra are pretty lifelike. The HDR processing looks great where shadows and highlights aren't crushed and clipping. White balance has been much improved after the updates too, which is great because before it used to run a bit cooler, but now it's more accurate and a little bit warm. And what I like about the S22 Ultra's camera interface is that it's very clean and you don't really have to mess with a bunch of settings to get the most out of your photos. Now, going back to the cameras though, in terms of low light photos, it looks pretty good with better white balance all around. And from my experience, the photos didn't look too muddy or noisy in the shadows, which is a great thing. But yeah, as a whole though, the S22 Ultra with its versatile camera system is definitely overkill for some people, but nice to have when you do want that extra reach with that 2 telephoto lenses. So when it comes to its video capabilities, I think this is where the S22 Ultra is in a league of its own. For whatever reason, the videos shot on the S22 Ultra seem to be less processed or less over sharpened than the S22. I'm not really sure whether they did something in the recent May update, but outdoors in a well-lit area, colors look neutral and the processing looks great. It still looks like it's shot on a phone, but nonetheless, it works really well. Plus, having that extra reach with a 3x and 10x zoom lens makes a big difference when shooting videos. Now, just like the S22, the 8K 24 mode is still limited to the main wide camera, but you don't really need to be shooting 8K anyways. It eats up way too much storage space, and if you're just filming TikToks or family videos, then 4K 60 is more than enough for those, and you're able to use all 4 focal lengths, which is great. But yeah, that's the Galaxy S22 Ultra after the updates. Battery life on the Ultra is good, but I was hoping for a bit more since it is the Ultra after all. But performance is top notch, and if you were experiencing slowdowns or drop frames when the phone initially launched, then this May update should have fixed that. Now, if you plan on gaming for several hours, just be aware that the phone will still get hot, but at least your performance won't get throttled. Now, the cameras on the S22 Ultra are probably the best I've tried thus far, and I know I keep saying it in this video, but it's definitely the most versatile smartphone camera out right now. The 100x zoom is crazy good for a digital zoom feature, and they've definitely worked on the software processing on that end too, which makes the overall image look a lot cleaner. But overall though, the camera system is great, so if you're looking for the most feature-packed phone, the S22 Ultra is it. And like I said in my S22 video, make sure to look at all the trade-in options on Samsung's website to make sure that you get the lowest price possible, because the S22 Ultra is not cheap, with a starting price of $1199 for 128 gigs of storage and 8 gigs of RAM. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so, because we are trying to get to 50K by the end of the year, and I think with your help, I think we can get there a lot quicker. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.